saying is the purpose of business is to make profit. Does everybody agree with that?
No, I'm not. I mean, like, I just have a different point of view. It's not that we are just only for the profit. You need to have the sustainability. Today, it is very easy profit, but the same profit, if your environment is not there, you need to have some purpose. So you really, I mean, I am very strong believer of without the purpose, and you really, what are your values? You really have to stick to your values. The revenue and all this thing will follow through. But just saying that, and I'm not talking about the CSR, which is a mandatory. What is there into your system? I mean, what exactly are the values? Are you really thinking through about your customers whom you're servicing? Are you providing the products what they need? Are you really putting across what exactly are their requirements? It's not just the profit part of it. It's not that you're undercutting the pricing and then talking about it.
It's a very interesting question that what are your values?
Yeah.
I mean, like the question is, does every organization think about it?
No, but the values again, see, there are some fundamental values and there are values which your values, what is value system for you may not be for me. Right? And I think if we are talking about business, profits is an important integral part.
Yes.
And a part of the profit should be used for this. And I think he made a good point. As a business, your value system should make sure that it covers all stakeholders.
Yeah.
It is not just product that we put the value system. It's a good starting point. Because if your product has the value system, it will then communicate and it will generate the profits and it will, lead to other this. I'm not saying it's bad, but at the end, it has to be that every stakeholder, whoever is associated with the organization, be it the employee, be it this, you have to have, there has to be some purpose-led thing and there has to be, but at the end, if you don't make money, you may have a purpose, but if you don't make money.
If you don't have the money, you won't have employees to service it. Where is the money? Where is the business going to come from?
Yes.
In fact, I think I don't want to be misconstrued here. It is not that you don't want to be an organization that does not want to care, right?
Yeah.
Caring goes to your employees, to your environment, to the entire ecosystem that you want to do. But there is a fundamental principle of why you exist as a corporate, right?
Yeah.
Now, we need to look at from that perspective as to if the existence is, and it is capitalism, right? Whether you are listed, whether you are not listed, the overall economy is not going to run if the capitalism is not going to be brought in. From that perspective, purpose can be encompassing. We can always say, what does it mean to my shareholder? What does it mean to my consumer? What does it mean to my employee? What does it mean to the society? So on and so forth. But the underlying theme still lies that as to purpose needs to have an economic value coming out of it.
Yeah, I think so. The direction is always important. It starts with the entrepreneur. I mean, I would not say that it is largely the corporates which come together and then start. Let's say we all decide to let's start a business together, and then the first thing it will come to all of our mind is that we have to have a purpose is doubtful. We all are talking about this. So it starts with the individual belief. And then it translates to a scalable business. And then eventually when it lasts for longer, then it becomes I would say the second generation, third generation as a pass on. The classic example, I mean, we have discussed the bigger ones and largely from India. We should also consider the latest ones like Elon Musk. If you look at Elon Musk and what kind of businesses he has built, which is multiples, all of the businesses definitely take care of all the things what we are discussing right now in this forum. And at the same time, it is him who is very clear that, listen, this is the principles of my business and I am going to do that. Now, for the longest period of time, he has not made money in some of his businesses, but still scaling. I mean, there are people, it is creating impact in the market. Whether he doesn't have the money to create this, I mean, I would not agree. So profit versus purpose. If we have to look at that point, I think so the first thing has to be purpose depend on the entrepreneur whether it is matters to him the most or not. So it is a choice between who is leading it.
Whatever you do, there are two aspects come into place, the care and the trust. So whatever these organizations are anybody doing, purpose-led or not, this care and trust are two behaviors which each of these companies knows that care and trust is a behavior which everybody feels it. Right? So take about pre-COVID and the post-COVID. The post-COVID suddenly, apart from the welfare, like a public sector, everybody listed companies started talking about the care. Because care is a behavior and people is believing it. Everybody started talking about, hospitalization, benefits and all. Everybody started raising it. So where it came from? It came from the pie of the profitability, which earlier was not being spent for the welfare. Correct? Which Social security was a prime importance for a public sector because it was created for a socialistic measure. So that pattern slowly start filling into private sector also, that now it's time that I also care for employees. This set was not being taken care of. So here is my care, here is my trust, which is a behavior. And people started believing it. That if I don't believe properly, employees are smart enough to understand, stakeholders are staff enough to understand, consumers are staff enough to understand that, okay, it is not impacting me, I'm not feeling this behavior. And this is why purposeful strategy, people are smart enough to see to it that my stickiness, either it is consumer or it is customer, they will feel the stickiness that no, it is not congenial with the purposeful. This generation will see to it that it is not converging with my purpose where I am working for. Today's generation is very clear, the MBO which we grow for, that in the process of fulfilling the organization goals, probably I am fulfilling my goals. But this generation is very goal, I am fulfilling my goals. In the process, organization goals has to be getting fulfilled. And organization have understanding it. Their policies are converging today as for the today's generation. I think this is where the values has to fit the way this employees wants to get it directed.
So let's take it to the next level. Now we are clear that okay, profits have to exist, otherwise we will not survive. So if we have to drive a purpose-driven strategy, how do we build it in the DNA, or how do we build it in the organization?
Yes, today they're not so much brand conscious. They're easy to drop a brand if they find this brand is involved in something which is not really for betterment of the mankind kind of thing. So internationally also a lot of sustainable brands, if you see eco-friendly sustainable brands has come in, like electrical car is one of the great examples on that. So what has happened now, the younger customer, they are much more smarter. They have started recognizing it. So what most of the brands, if you look at India, has not have too many examples who are made it on scale. But what they've done, when you're making profit, part of the profit they've reinvested in the society. So there is a water brand in UK. So basically, every bottle you buy, certain percentage of the profit actually goes back to they actually work in the Africa kind of thing. Like people who are not getting water, they actually send that money to really work on that. So and they demonstrate in that website, whatever money you're giving, part of is actually going. So the brands which have done it over a period of time, then, that brand is on, I'm forgetting the name of the H2O, or water is the name of the brand. They've made phenomenal growth very, very quickly. So like that, there are multiple such brands who have said that, if you're making profit, X percentage of the profit, actually I'm investing. This is what I did with that. And customers generally support that brand, and new age customers love this kind of brands. So it is a much more easier way to really put a purpose and say that I'm part of the profit I'm redeploying, and that is what actually probably will work in future.
I just want to add. Just want to quickly, because I think so. The lot of time what we are discussing here is aligning things towards profits, and I'm sure we have all kind of generations sitting here. And I would go back to my previous example, Elon Musk. None of his companies are making profit. He is the highest valued company in the world right now, and you and me are not making them. Those are the larger believers who either working in the company or investing in that company because they feel that he's the guy who's really changing the world for good.
Listen, I don't know whether you read his autobiography, but I think, let's be clear, I think he doesn't care for, I don't think he has, his soul, I think he is a successful businessman, there's no doubt, which gets him the valuation, great marketeer. But I mean, are you saying that he has value system? I would put a huge question mark. I would put a huge question mark on the value system.
And I have read reports which say that people are not willing to work with him because he's an eccentric person. It's very difficult to work with him.
He drives a business, and therefore, and at the end, who is investing? You, people like you, me are investing because we want to make money at the end of the day. We are not investing because he's saying that I want to create another Earth, so that if anything happens to Earth, then there is Mars which is there. I don't think any one of us...
How do you make money if you do not know what purpose he's chasing for?
Sorry?
No, see, eventually, that's a point. See, do you want to have a green bottom line and make money, or do you want to have a valuation to make money, or do you see that there is a potential valuation that is today unseen that I'm going to create tomorrow that nobody will see it? I think this is probably in the third space. There is a set of believers who see that as to, hey, he's standing for a cause, but the cause is actually for a valuation. And that valuation is just starting, and it will only go further and further. And if there is an ecosystem that needs to be controlled, whether it could be political, whether it could be policy, whether it could be so on and so forth, the person is ready to do it. So that clearly shows that as to my purpose is to be dominant, and that dominant can be demonstrated in many forms. That's what the person actually stands for.
I just want to talk about, when we're talking about the purpose-led strategy and, and then profitability. Just think about a situation. I'll just give an example of Lijat Papad. What exactly is your purpose? You're helping the women entrepreneurs who are not having access to the financial market or, able to showcase their skills. They're good at what they're doing it. By helping them, you are creating an ecosystem whereby it's a good viable business model and they're also getting the share of the profit. And at the same time, that model is also making money. So that's what I'm saying. If you have a purpose and you really feel that while you have given them the livelihood, it is not only to the women, you have also given the livelihood to the entire family. And with that, you have not compromising on your profit. So I'll just pick up that example. And the another one is of the Toyota, like we talked about. But for them, human capital is the one of the most important. I mean, that's what they talk about, the value. And for them, cost is the utmost priority. So everybody is aligned that I have to do something slightly differently to avoid this non-value added and improve the efficiency. And today we'll see where they are.
We all know Kabir. We have heard of Kabir.
That's it.
So many years back, thousands of years back, he stated, and he stated for the welfare of the state and the leader, which is the king. And he said how king is purposeful. King can only be purposeful with his doha, Nindak Nirnay Rakhiye Angan Kutir Chhawai.
Wow.
So who is the wealthiest of the king? Who has the most constructive critique? Angan Kutir Chhawai in his courtyard. Who will guide him properly to take the right decision in respect to purpose and welfare of the state. So if I take Elon Musk, whatever he's doing, profit. So at the end of the day, why board came? Board came as a trusted thing to guide this, that who is the Nindak Nirnay Rakhiye? Who is the Angan? So who will guiding this principle? So somebody has to guide it today and tomorrow. We might go way, but it has to come back. Otherwise, this organization will cease to exist in the long term. I'm not naming it because we are not supposed to name it. And it is the society's reflection of that. They became BCCI sponsor and everything. People started, because all for the valuation. I'm not naming this. We all know that who the organization is. Right? Now, this is where the purposeful driven organization, if it was not a purposeful organization, right? Why you are, rest of the economy is allowing them to, for the valuation's sake. So, it is a collective thought and a collective way of looking at it that will not invest, not allow any stray organization who is defining for the purpose which is existed from. And that was an education platform. Still, they did it.
Where it falters is that typically purpose is a guiding light. Right? The guiding light is actually going to help you to make choices. What is that you want to do? What is that you want to do? Don't want to do. How you want to do it. Technically, when a management change happens, the first thing that you go and look at is, can I tinker the purpose? Can I get my identity into the purpose? Right? That's where the winning organization and the losing organization makes a difference, right? And if that is something that you say, hey, purpose is not something, is my identity. It's what my consumer is asking for. And what is that I want to stand for. And then if you look at revisiting it when the ecosystem is evolving, purpose will be everlasting and profits will definitely follow.